Hello, Piccia. How you doing?
So nice to be live again in
Happy New Year.
Nathan's
Happy New
space.
Year. Yeah, it feels
Happy
like
New
we
Year
haven't
to
done
you,
this
Nathan.
for the longest period of time. I think that's true. When did we last
I think
actually
it
hold that?
feels like it because we haven't.
Yeah.
I think that we decided to start doing it again last year, and then in the end did one or two max just because I was so busy before Christmas, and
Yes.
so were you. So it was just really hard to find a slot.
Find a slot, but find a slot we did.
Yeah,
Yeah, we kept pushing
we
it back,
did.
didn't we? But
Yeah.
we have it all sorted out. We've got a couple of websites for you to look at today. Peacher, everybody endlessly hears about me, and I drone on about myself all the time. But this show isn't about me; it's about you. And so I want you to drone on about yourself. Tell anybody who's listening to this for the first time, watching this perhaps on a replay or something. Who are you? And what have you got to do with UI and UX on the web?
Let me just say before that, Nathan, though, that it's never enough about you. Never enough. We never hear enough about you, Nathan.
Right. Okay.
As
Well,
much
in
as
that case, I'll open my I've got my biography that I'm on in the process of writing. No, let's listen to you. Go on. Tell us.
so, my name is Piccia Neri, which is hysterical in many languages, even though you don't know that. It's
Oh, I didn't
hysterical
know that.
in
Huh.
what you didn't know.
No, I didn't know
Okay,
it was a
so
funny word. Okay.
it's not a funny word, it's a rude word in at least two languages that I know of, and it means the opposite. One is here in Spain is male, and I think in Slovenia is female and quite bad. So funny story. So whereas in Italian it's like small, tiny, it's not even a real name. And in English it's perfect 'cause it's like peach with an
Yes.
A at the end. So people really
Yes.
like it,
Yeah.
peacha.
It sounds
So
kind of like cute and wholesome. Your name,
yeah,
Peacher.
and sort of
Yeah.
fluffy. And
Yeah.
so even though the peach emoji these days is not a safe one either.
Oh.
So funnily enough, so when I was I did when I was at university, I went to Spain for an exchange scholarship. Famous Erasmus that everybody that goes to
Yes.
university in
Yes.
Europe goes on. It was this was like the beginning of the program. Hi Anne. Anne is here. Wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us, Anne. So I was going to Salamanca and it was all really sudden, sort of decided last minute. So I didn't really speak any Spanish. And when they tell you that Spanish and Italian are the same, just not true. Very different languages. And Spanish is a fiendishly difficult language. And I know because I've been living here 6 years now. So I went to Salamanca, wonderful city. I had the most amazing time of my life. But before I did that, so I had a friend who was teaching Spanish at my university. And he told me, okay, so you don't speak any Spanish, but there's one thing that you need to know, just one. Just, hi, Mark. Mark Westcott's here. So one thing that you need to know is that you can't use your name. And I was like, what do you mean? No, 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 you can't use Piccia. Now, I'm really attached to Piccia because there's only me called Piccia. It's not a name that exists. It's a nickname. It's my name. Nobody else has it. So I was refusing to accept it. And he was like, no, no, believe me, you cannot use Piccia. Just don't do it. Don't do it. And I was like, what can he possibly mean? It's the male organ. But he was like, just don't. Just don't. And I was like, well, no, I want to anyway. So off I went to Salamanca, absolutely determined not to give up
Oh.
on my beloved
Oh.
name,
Yeah.
unique name that made me me.
Yeah.
Defines me more. Which is something that not everybody can say about their name. So I got there and I was. You would be oh, hello Natalie, great to see you. So my first week in Salamanca, the university placed me with a family, and then my intention was to obviously then I found a student flat, but first week was with a family, and the family was like getting into an Almodovar film. It really was this super dark house with the heaviest furniture, everything like sort of with really heavy curtains and drapes and so on, and crucifixes and
Oh.
religious statues everywhere, which is sort of the opposite of
Sounds like
me.
going to be
And this and
exorcism
the
or something.
mother of the house, which I realize now must have been 40. She probably wasn't older than 40, but like looked much older because he's a typical church goer. She was like, "Oh, you have the Pope in Italy. You are so lucky." And I was like, "Okay, it's because of the Pope that I can't change my legal name to Piccia because it's almost impossible in Italy to change your given name." So, but she had her two children were these incredibly handsome teenage boys, clearly the opposite of their mother, like really with it down with it, so there I go, and I go, okay, now I'm gonna test this out. So my friend said, whatever you do, do not use the name Piccia, and I'm gonna test it out now. So I arrive in the house with all the crucifixes and the dark furniture and curtains and the weird mother and the handsome boys that all lined up to say hi. And I go and I say, yes, hi, my name is Piccia. And the boys nearly choked. They nearly died laughing. They were literally rolling on the floor laughing, while the mother was like completely, the mother was like motionless. She didn't say anything because clearly she was the Catholic lady who would never even have admitted to knowing what Piccia actually meant. So after
Oh,
that experiment, I thought, okay, yeah, no, he was right. I definitely cannot use Piccia. It was a very, very funny scene. You had to be
that
there. The two boys, they couldn't speak. They were not able to shake my hand. They
yes,
just weren't because
yes.
it was too
Well, I
funny.
mean, I can, if somebody walked in and introduced themselves with a word which obviously I associate with the exact same object, I'm gonna freak out as well. Interesting,
So funny.
interesting story. I just had to wipe tears from my eyes because I think that's brilliant. I love it.
And Jesse's
Oh,
saying, speaking as a frick, I feel seen with this story, Peach.
frick! What's it? I don't really frick. Is
Fricking.
there?
Well, fricking,
Oh, okay. Oh, all right. Okay. Okay. Yeah. My
I had
mum
never thought of that actually,
no, my
Jess,
mum
now
used
that
to be
you've
a primary school teacher, and she taught a little girl whose name, like, this is the least offensive name in the world, but it's very cute. Her name was Cherry Pie, Pye.
Oh,
Yeah, isn't that nice? So yeah,
yes.
so on that bombshell, I should probably say we will get to talking about UI and UX at some point. And
But we
if
always
you're
do this,
yeah, we
don't we?
no, we just go off on a tangent. This is
Can't
par for
help
the
it.
course, right? This is what you get. If you want to share this stream, please do. That would be great. It'd be really nice to have some more people in. I know everybody's
Please do,
busy.
yeah.
If you feel like you want to just sort of put this on a monitor over one side, just have the audio in your ear and then come back to the screen when when you hear something that's of interest, do that.
Rather than
But share wpbuilds.com/live. If you're on that page, you're on YouTube comments, so you need to be logged into Google if you want to comment. Alternatively, though, some people find themselves in our Facebook group and things like that, and if that's the case, then you need to do a little extra step because Facebook refused to give us your avatar and what have you. So anyway, you
yeah,
need to go
because
to
they're really
chat.
concerned
I
about
was going to say
privacy,
it's
aren't
one
they?
of the few examples where they get the whole privacy thing. Anyway, chat.restream.io/FB will enable you to share your avatar and name. Please, 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 if you have anything to say, please put it in the comments. It's really nice. Obviously, we've got a few people like Jess, Natalie, Mark, and Anne who've just introduced themselves. If you are lurking here and you don't want to comment, but you've got a comment and you want to anonymize it, feel free to do it that way. It's really fine. We'll try and put as many on the screen as we can. But thank you to Anne and Mark and Natalie and Jess who have made a little comment. So, Piccia, 2 websites today submitted by
Yes.
the users of the internet somewhere. You've been posting out on LinkedIn. I've been mentioning it on my podcast and things. And so I had few submissions, and we're going to go through those today.
Yes.
And a couple of deceptive designs. Was that the case as well? You've got a few of those lined up.
I've got a few things that I want to rant a little bit about. I think you had something you wanted to vent about as well, weren't you?
Oh, I've always got
Uh,
things to vent about.
ah,
But, yeah. So,
Alex is here. So
hello,
Alex is
Alex. Nice
Alex
to have
Carroll
you with
because
us.
we're gonna look at your site first. So I'll just say because I
Oh,
went off on the name tangent, but just to say who am I to who
yeah.
am
We never
I
got
to
to that
talk
bit, did
about
we? Yeah,
people's websites? Who am I? Why do I give
yeah.
myself the authority to do that? So first of all, nobody has any authority to I'm not this is not judging, but anyway, I've been working as a designer for a very, very, very long time. And because of that, I've done a little bit of no, I don't want to sound like tautology. I've done a little bit of everything, but I have done a lot of editorial design. And in a way, websites are, that's what they are. It's not always, but it's largely editorial design. And then when I started with WordPress, I've done a lot of creative design as well. But then when I started with WordPress, I went all in with UX and UI, because there's a big thing these days. If you follow UX people on LinkedIn, which I do, obviously being in the, there's lots of gatekeepers saying, well, UX and UI are different. You can't do both. And my point is, I completely agree. And in a bigger organization, it's very separate. When I've done UX projects for Cloudways, for instance, I've worked with Cloudways for a few years. And with them, it was very separate. I would only do the UX process. But with smaller companies and smaller projects, you absolutely do want someone that is able to do UX and UI, or look at it that way. So basically, UX is making sure that you do research and that you look at the user experience rather just the pretty design, And in the past few years, I'm concentrating on accessibility, which is an essential part of the experience, and it's an essential part of the UI. And you can go very specific with that and say, well, I do accessible design. The fun thing about that is that I am still learning a lot, and I learn as I go along, because, and is one of my companions in the accessibility journey, and it's a journey. Basically, it's not a destination. It never ends. So that's also the kind of hat that I wear when I look at websites. So without further ado, because then we just natter on too much. We can't help it. I always warn people there's be a lot of rants and bants. Anyway, we are going to look at Alex Coward's website, businessfreedommethod.co.uk. Now, here it is. So let me also say that it's not at all a judgment. I look at the websites and I don't really know anything about them. I don't know who designed this. I don't know who wrote the copy. I know very little about them. And therefore, that's my power, because you've been too close from it to it. You suffer to with what I call proximity blindness. You literally can't tell the woods from the trees, because you've been so. But mine, and it's never. If I say, I understand that you probably spend so much money and so much time on your labor of love, and I completely understand that. And yet, I do need to tell you what I see. Otherwise, what's the point? Right. So, first of all, here we are. But it's not a judgment. That's for sure. And my website is the worst. So anyway, always our own websites. Business Freedom Method. So I like the URL is very nice. First of all, I really like big, bold type. So this is a great opening balance. And then there's you here, Alex, which I love. Although I am wondering, because you're not looking at us, you are looking at the message. So that's kind of all right. But I'm wondering whether there's other photos on the site where you actually look directly at the person. So balance, nice thing to open with. A simple concept, yet so hard to achieve. We work to live. We do not live to work. Whether you work as a solo entrepreneur, you have a team of employees, balance is a buzzword that isn't going away. Luckily for you, I have spent my career finding efficient and productive ways of working to ensure that we can get the most done in the least time. It's time to, So first thing, Alex, this copy is really good, but there is a lot of it. And we've done loads of these with Nathan. So Nathan probably knows already what I look at first. It's not what you think right now, because also it's not happening. So what I look at first is, in the so-called above the fold, which is this that we're looking at, what's the call to action? What do I do here? What do you want me to do? And there isn't anything for the visitor to do. So I really do think that the copy is very good, but I think that you should rejig it around so that I know exactly what the website does. Why am I here? What do you want me here for? Because I don't know. I think that if I read all of it, is that you are probably coaching me so that my business works for me and I can have a good life-work balance. That's what I think this is, and it's great. I want that, definitely want that, because if you work for yourself often, you do not have that, because funny enough, you're doing it for freedom, and in the end, you end up being the worst employer. You would never accept from an employer what you accept from yourself.
Yes.
So that's very true. So I would think about that, and because I still don't know. So basically, what I need to do now is carry on looking, because I don't know what you want me to do, and what the w- why am I here, basically.
Hmm.
So one thing about the cookies, because we are going to look at that as deceptive designs later on, because I've come across a few recently that absolutely infuriated me. Now, this is not infuriating at all, but it's wrong, because if you want, you can't just, this can't be implied. You have to give me the option to not accept the cookies. You can't just go, I understand. So you're giving me no option. You need, I think this could be Ubenda. I think this is it could be, Ubenda is a service to set up cookies. So I think that you can configure the plugin in such a way that it does give you the option. And it needs to be an either or. It needs to be, so that's, I don't want to go too deep into this now, because we'll talk about it later. But it has to be, yes, I accept, no, I reject. That's it. That's all you need to do. So here you are. So, okay, so you're telling me now about Arc Virtual Solutions, which confuses me now, because am I on Business Freedom Method, or I am on Arc Virtual Solutions? And this is interesting information, but I think it should be on so the Business Freedom Method is something that you developed within Arc, but I'm here to look at the site, so I'm going through it. If I were someone just looking for a solution, maybe I wouldn't have. So I have to say, this looks lovely. I love the typeface here, what you've done with the
Hmm.
illustration, and I adore the fact that it matches your skirt and your top. I love it. I love the color scheme. Not that color schemes mean anything, because funnily enough, I'm finishing off my talk for WordCamp Asia, which is about color, and I adore color. You may not think that because I'm wearing all black most of the time, but color is, I live by it. And yet I have come to the conclusion that color, don't rely on color to communicate anything, because nobody will see it the way you see. So in a way, you can do whatever you want with it. But so anyway, this is completely personal, and I love it. I really, really love it. And I love the ARC logo. I think that's wonderful. Well done. And I like that you've got the press here, but I would have, so this is social proof. So which is great to have, but what I would do is link, if they've
Yeah.
written,
Yeah.
link to something that I can check. So if they've written about you, especially if it's, obviously it's going to be flattering, then just link to it somehow. Either link straight to the article, or have a testimonial somewhere. So here again, I think that all you need to do is rejig this copy and make sure that there is a call to action. What do you want people to do? Do you have courses? So okay, before I go, you know what I'm going to say about this, don't
I
you?
do. You
You
don't want it
do.
there. You
You
haven't.
say I
You've no
don't.
agency over it. It's there, and you can't stop it.
I taught you
You
so well,
did
Nathan.
teach me those words.
I did. So this basically, you have to ask yourself, does this help anybody at all? Does this help the user to achieve their goal? Whatever your goal is with the user, does this slider that I can't stop uh, help? No, it doesn't. The message now, so I have to actually, because it's very slow, which is better. Thank God it's not too fast. But success without sacrifice is I makes me understand what you do. I think it should be here, maybe success without sacrifice. Find out how. Boom, button, and that takes me where you want me, which I still don't know, because here, if you think about it, I'm going to click on this, but if you think about it, I don't know yet where to go from here. The homepage is basically the page where people go so that they find out where to go next. This is why bounce rates on homepages don't really mean that much, because I'm not meant to be there very long anyway. So, but I want a call to action here. Alex, because I think so. This the about page? Is that, see? It's basically the same, which is fine. But work with me. Is that what you want? Oh, okay. See, now I love this photo. I love that
Mm.
one. But on the homepage, I think I would prefer this because you're looking straight at me. It's a wonderful photo. So I would consider that. So work with me. When was the last time you were able to sit back and relax? So this is very good copy. Again, really, really interesting. But I don't know yet what you're going to do for me. You know, that's something that is not entirely clear yet. So now I'm getting to
Now you
it.
get in there. Yeah.
Hyperproductive day, mentoring, business freedom courses, strategic operations consultancy. So there's lots of stuff. Grip on one-to-one training session. Lots of stuff, which is great. And I think they should live on the work with me page. But if I were you, I would pick one thing that's your target at the moment, and I'll put it on the homepage, and I would put it here. Because another thing that we say all the time, don't we, Nathan, is that it's hardly someone who lands on your site for the first time. They're not going to book your high ticket offer the first time they come, are they? So pick one thing that can lure people in. It could be a free call. And then, like, for instance, I mean, again, like I said, my own site is work in progress. It's dreadfully behind. There's hardly anything there. But I had to make the decision, what do I want people to do? And I thought, I think I just want them to call me or to contact me somehow. So that's what I put there. But then on my Hire Me page, there's lots of different ways that they can do it, which is what you have here, which is great. So here,
Yeah, it's
Nathan.
not left aligned. It's centered. So yeah, which is in contradiction to the homepage, actually. A very similar layout, but it was left aligned on the homepage,
It
wasn't it?
was left aligned, which
Mm.
is that's something else. Great. I'm glad it's helpful, Alex. By the way, I recently completed a project that launched on Friday, and
Nice.
which was very similar in the sense that they had really good copy that they thought about a lot, which you've done, but they really felt like it needed an external eye. So we hired a UX writer, one I know, Alice Orru, who is also in the WordPress environment. And she just came in for a few hours, jigged things around. So it wasn't terribly expensive at all because it was just a few hours. And she barely changed the copy, just shortened it in some places and put calls to action and said, you need to put this here, which was amazing. So hire someone else because I do think your copy is great. But so back to the center. I actually, Alex, you follow me on LinkedIn. I have recently done a post or even two on why you shouldn't center text, which you didn't on the homepage. So what I see here is I see a vase on a bowl. That's what I see. I see the shape. I see the shape first. You shouldn't really center text because it makes it quite a bit harder for the eye to follow. I'm not going to rant about it. That's why I write the LinkedIn posts. And another thing that I've just finished noticing is that, so this is not copy. This is an image. Don't do that. You want your headings to be headings, not images. Is this?
You mean where it says
It's
"work
not.
with me"?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Okay.
not. It's not. So I know that I understand why you did it. It's because you want I think it's because you want the branding, but forget about that. That you want people to find the page and text can't be an image, full stop.
Yeah. You'll get further in Google if that's text. Put it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I haven't actually used Wave, which is an accessibility plugin, because I've recently found that it doesn't really. I mean, especially with contrast, it says that things have low contrast. This is probably true. This is true. This is low contrast. This green against the white. Yeah, I thought it was a design choice. It looks lovely, but no, it's more important that you do things correctly, because a screen reader wouldn't find a header. So that's really important. So this is definitely that you need to make this green darker for it to be accessible. However, often Wave picks up on issues that are not quite there. It's definitely not a perfect not a perfect tool. And you've got a few things there. So you've got a lots of H2s. I mean, you need to look at your structure. It's not too bad, but it needs to be better structured. And I haven't actually, I'm not going to look at too much beyond that with accessibility. You know what you should really do is get someone blind to try and find things on your site. I did it recently and it's a mind-blowing experience, and it will show you so many things. Anyway,
Can I
so
just say one
yes,
quick thing? The cookie banner is back,
it's back.
and
Yeah,
yet
so there's
and
something not.
you did click it, didn't you, as well? So
Yeah, I
that's
did. So
curious.
that,
Yeah. Mm.
yeah. So make sure that you got calls to action. Left align this because you had it left align before. Also, you've got 3 different typefaces here. You've got this one here, this one for the heading, which is not the same as the body copy. No need, because these two, the heading and the body copy, are not really that different, but they are not the same. So you are basically just stressing the site out. Oh, and there's yet another typeface in the menu. No, reduce to one typeface. You don't really need more than one. I mean, you like this one for the headings, so you can have, if you want, two, one for the headings, but definitely not four, because it will make your site slower inevitably, but also it uh, messes things up visually as well. Because I mean, I'm looking at lots of stuff here. I mean, this is really a bird's eye view review. When I do paid reviews, they go much, much deeper, and I can tell you many more things, obviously. But right now, sort of bird's eye view, I'm not even going to try and navigate via keyboard, but you must make sure that your site is navigable via keyboard, because there are lots of different people who do not use a mouse, and screen readers need that ability as well. Yes.
Well, I was just going to ask you a question. You see the text there, running a business, so the smaller text. Yeah,
Yeah.
that. How do you feel about grey on white? Because I'm
Yeah, it's
I'm
very, very
actually
low.
struggling to read that. But that may
So am
just be
I.
my peculiarity. I don't know if that's
But that's the thing about accessibility. Don't think, oh, it's just me, I don't count. You do
right.
count. And because the thing is that it's, for me, it's hard to see as well. And the thing is, it's a little bit the color, and a little bit the fact that the font is I feel is big enough, but it's not thick enough. And I don't want you to go bold, because that's something else. But this is a typeface that I think it's a Google. I can't remember which one it is. I can't. I don't. Doesn't
That's
matter.
okay. Yeah.
It's not too important. But it doesn't have any contrast. Contrast in a typeface means. Hang on. I'm just going to make it bigger to show you. So you see that it's basically the stroke is always the same width, which is a bit problematic with a typeface. It makes it harder to read anyway, because it has no what is called contrast. Some typefaces have got too much contrast, and some don't have enough. But look, this is really good. So if I make it bigger, it still works.
Mhm.
So that's great. Well done. So let me just say that there's a lot that's well done with this site. Yeah. So how long have we been on this? Nearly
Yeah,
20
that's
minutes. So we're
probably
gonna have
about
to,
about
yeah.
the amount of time that we've got, I'm afraid, for that particular one.
Here's a call to action.
Yeah.
There you go. So, and that's a low friction. It's not very much. And I would definitely put the testimonials much further up before anything else. But here is a call to action. So, but I don't know what, and also I don't have the menu anymore. Don't do that. I always need the menu. Where's the menu? Now I can't
Oh, I
go
see. It's
back.
like become a landing page. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
don't. It's really wrong. It's, even though they marketers tell you that it's right, it's not, because people then can't go back. There's no and then you've got courses, you've got speaking. So I would think about what you want people to do. And what's your lowest friction? You probably have a freebie, I'm sure that you do, but there's lots that's and make this text
It's too
shorter than
wide.
this.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, too wide, because my gets lost. So anyway, yes, I think that we need to move on, otherwise we won't have time. for
Well,
everything. But
indeed. But thank you, Alexandra. Thanks for, first of all, submitting your site. And obviously, Peach is around. I'm sure you could connect with her in other ways if you wanted to take that a little bit further. But yeah, so that was freedom. Sorry, I do apologize. Business freedom
freedom method.
method.co.uk. Do
And
you know, when I see that domain, what I initially saw, this is apropos of nothing, I saw business free domithod.co.uk. That's, I just parsed it in that way.
that is definitely you, though,
Yeah, that really
Nathan.
is me. But yeah, lovely. Lots of nice comments there, but also a few little pointers that you can
You've got
probably iron out
so
really quick.
Yeah, so I think that you've got so much good material here, like really loads of good stuff. Just take this step back and again, if you want to speak to me, just let me know. Now we're going to move on to the next one, because I really do want to rant a little bit about the so okay, and we've got again. So this is Natalie. I hope you're still there, Natalie. So this is AccessAlly. I'm slightly this sort of yes, she is. So I was sort of a little bit starstruck, Natalie, when you submitted, because I've been following you for so many years. And I remember when, I mean,
Nice.
much less now, but years ago, I had all your freebies. I was like really, really fangirling, stunning quite a bit. So so yes, I'm honored to be here. And so there you go. Again, if you were here earlier, you already know that uh, this is better, because at least I can go into the cookie settings, but I shouldn't have to do this. There was a recent Google got heavily fined in Germany by the German regulating body, because it wasn't as easy to reject as it was to accept, and now it's really easy to
Ah,
reject. And
nice.
also
Yeah,
save
yeah.
and accept, okay, it's fine, necessary. This is sort of borderline, but it's not. And also one thing that it's now gone, but it said do not sell. I had to click on something to click on do not sell my data, and I assume you're not going to sell my data. I don't want to have to click. I don't know if that was it was, but anyway, let's look at this. So I actually haven't looked at AccessAlly for so long that I have to remind myself what it does. Now, the first thing that I see is this: the most flexible way to sell and elegantly deliver digital offerings as your business grows, all in one place. Now, two observations about this. Again, the same thing that I said at the huge disclaimer that I did at the beginning. I know that you spent so much time, money, and love and whatever on this. So this is like a dispassionate view, and it doesn't take anything away. And I don't know who did this, anyway. So to me, I know this is very American. We definitely don't have it in Italy. This is never seen that a
There's
title should
title
have
case. Yeah.
title case. But this is not a title, though. It's not the title of a book. It's your main heading. It's the way that you want people to understand what you offer. So immediately, I'm really struggling to read this. Really, 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 really struggling. And I am not. I am not a. I'm not dyslexic, and yet I find this hard to read, because I have to first, because it goes, I go up, down, up, down, down. It's a little bit similar to what happens with center text when I'm trying to follow the line, going, line, where does it begin? I've always, my brain is busier trying to work things out than focusing on the actual message. So I don't know if this tells me what you do, what AccessAlly says. What would you say, Nathan? Would you
The
understand what
flexible way to
AccessAlly does?
sell, well, obviously, so she's selling a business offer. If your business is growing, she's selling something which will enable you to do that more all in one place. Not sure is the truth.
It's not sure. And here you say, what is AccessAlly exactly? It's a powerful, I mean, honestly, a powerful WordPress plugin here. Because now I remember that's exactly what AccessAlly does. But take this and put it here, then I'll know. Because this is more an observation. It's like, this is more a qualitative observation than it is a one-liner on what your plugin does. And I always think, and I know that Michael Killen, Natalie, because I think I saw you in one talking to him once somewhere. Anyway, you know him, and he's a big fan of yours. I think he recommends AccessAlly. So what I learned from Michael Killen is the one-liner, aka "I want to live in a world where," and the example is always, the most famous one is Bill Gates, who said in 1977, "I want to live in a world where every home has a computer." He wasn't selling computers. He never sold computers. He only ever sold software and other things, but not computers. And yet, that was his selfless dream. At the same time, once that every home has a computer, then they will also have his software, which is exactly what happened. So that's the one liner. An exercise that I do with all my clients. What's your I want to live in a world where dream? And so I guess that yours would be that um, online businesses can scale via a plugin on the homepage. I mean, I've done it in a split second.
Yeah, yeah,
uh,
yeah, yeah,
on
yeah.
on there with just basically, it's like you own everything. You don't use external platforms, and you own everything. Whether you do with AccessAlly or not, it's at the bottom of our front page. You're fantastic. So it's probably here. Okay, so I have things to say about this. Okay, so I think it should be at the top, basically, not at the bottom. It should be at the top because I think it would make it much clearer. Now, I understand that this is a pop-up on exit intent. I reckon that because I think it thought, or it was
Or it
scroll
could be
down,
scroll. It
maybe.
could be
It
50%,
could be a
70%.
scroll.
Yeah.
So I'm not. I know. I mean, pop-ups are a really sore point. I really wonder whether this converts for you, Natalie, or not. I would take my marketing efforts elsewhere because really, right, it's an exit intent and also scroll based. So it's both. Yeah.
My thoughts
So
on the scroll one are, I don't know if you're interested, Peter, but my thoughts on the scroll one are, you're sort of
always.
punishing people that are interested. So the people who are making the effort to scroll, which is a subset of the people who've arrived at your website, probably a fairly small subset, you're then getting in the way of your own marketing,
Yeah.
aren't you? Your message is now buried under there somewhere. Yeah.
I agree. And also, you interrupted me.
Right.
I wanted to find something out, and now I can't because I've got this here. You haven't, and sometimes exit intent is good because sometimes really I'm leaving and are letting me know that there is something that would be interesting. But the thing is that I believe that these days there are other ways to get people's email address or to get people on your list. There are other ways. Pop-ups I'm now really thinking definitely all over mats like this one because you've interrupted me. I can't do anything else. If you was a little maybe in the bottom, if maybe you sort of wean yourself in stages because I understand you. I don't know if it converts, so maybe it does convert for you, but experiment with it because it interrupted me. And also, I know this because I have to confess that. So if I click now, so also I'm not sure about the contrast here. I think this is definitely too thin, and I'd need to check with a contrast checker the purple and the white. I think that it's fine when it's big, but not so fine when it's small. Also, this, I am afraid, I'm really sorry, but this is deceptive design thing. No thanks needs to be maybe not as big as start the demo, but way bigger than this. This is basically invisible. And again, it should be as easy. I shouldn't feel like the only way out is, I mean, you got the cross here, but it should be much, much bigger. So now if I click on start the demo, why do you need my email and name for the demo? I've only just arrived. So I really want to see a demo. I really, really, really want to see a demo because you've told me lots of interesting things. It does everything, but I am not sure. Again, I don't know if it's maybe converts for you, and so you think no, actually I'd prefer it to be like this. But if I'm here to tell you about the UX, I'm going to say it's not brilliant UX because you've introduced an element of friction and you're not being generous. Just show me. Why wouldn't you show me? Because if you are convinced that your product is the best of its kind, which I'm sure you are because I know that it probably is, then just show it to me. You shouldn't be afraid. You know you're going to get the client anyway. and you know that you need many more points. Do you know what this reminds me of? An example I've done many times, I'm sure here, but also in
Oh yeah,
my
yeah, we did see this one.
various
Yeah, yeah.
talks. So basically, Duolingo, I don't know if they've changed thing. Okay. Okay, thanks, Natalie. Getting us into a real life demo site
Interesting.
designed just for the explained it. You need to explain it, because otherwise it looks like you want my email, and that's, you just want me for your marketing list. So that makes complete sense, but I would definitely add somehow an explanation. So Duolingo is loading, but basically the point is that with Duolingo you can get started learning a language. So it's loading probably because we're online or whatever, but
Do you know what's interesting there, Piccia? There is 100% chance that, given what I just saw, that I would close the browser as soon as somebody pitches for my email address in exchange for something that I don't know anything about. I am guaranteed to walk away. That's just
that's
my
the risk.
proclivity. That's just me. But if it had been, we need your email address so that our demo can be
Personalized,
personalized,
that's amazing.
I'm totally all over that,
All
especially if
over
it's then
that.
couched in language of, and we won't put you on our list.
Exactly.
So that's
We don't
interesting.
want you for the list, but because we are going to serve you something amazing. So,
Yeah.
but again, even though Duolingo doesn't, is still loading, but anybody who's used it knows that you can get started using it in a split second, and you're already learning a language. They don't even ask for you. They ask whether you want to, but you don't have to give them anything. Rosetta Stone, look, I just opened it. It's in Spanish because I live in Spain. Um, and before I've even seen the homepage, they've actually got worse. They keep, because I use examples in various occasions, and every time. So obviously the website constantly changes, but it's always like this. It's always asking me to give them something before they've given me anything. Because come on, we all know that this exclusive offers and tips to learn languages, you want my email address. It's not about what I get; it's about what you get. But anyway, Natalie, really good to know. And I would definitely do that. So basically, that's the example that I always make. I'm just going to close them
Yeah, Duolingo's down.
now. Duolingo is done. So, yeah. Um, so here, yeah. See, we want to live in a world where access to knowledge lifts everyone up. You got it. Fantastic. But again, two things here that Nathan knows I will say. Uh, Yeah. So two things. It's the center text. Also, you're centering, but below it's not centered. So you've got two alignments, which is really confusing. And again, so this is hard to read in two ways. One is the title case, and the other one is the center text, which also looks weird because it's a very, 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 very wide box. You need to, again, as Anne said, they're up to maximum of 75 characters,
Yeah, that
including
was really a
spaces. And
useful
I,
tip. Thank you, Anne.
thank you,
Yeah.
Anne. Thanks very much. Yeah. And again, about the typeface, this is, I think it's Nuno Google font, which is fine. But again, I think it's fine, but I think you could infuse a bit more personality into your brand. Because Google Fonts, also be careful, because Google Fonts, uh, you can get, Google Fonts are not necessarily legal in Europe because they follow you everywhere. And I mean, I saw at a work camp here in Spain, there was a lawyer that did a talk that absolutely put the fear of God into everyone. Fantastic. Perfect. You took it out of it. So Natalie just said the fonts are loaded locally on the site, which is
Yeah.
perfect. So I'll shut up about it.
Google
But
have
if you,
actually done a really good job with that recently. You can download their fonts
yeah,
trivially now, so it's really simple. Do what Natalie's done. Do it. Serve it locally. There's no
exactly,
reason not to.
serve them locally. But the thing is that, again, it's a font that has very little contrast. It's a nice font. It's an okay font. It's got good things for accessibility. Like, for instance, the L doesn't look like an I, like a capital I. So it's got good things, but it has no contrast, and therefore, as because again, actually it has got tiny, as it does have a little bit of contrast. I take that back. But anyway, in terms of legibility, and legibility is big on the accessibility front, make your line length much smaller. And I noticed that here, book a free discovery call is in a different typeface. I don't know why. So you've got visually, I mean, okay, not everyone is like me. Not everyone knows all the notices all the typefaces. Probably most people think the three typefaces are the same. But AccessAlly, I think, is Futura. Futura, it's what it looks like. And of which I'm a fan, although it's probably less accessible than Nuno. Anyway, use whatever typeface you want, but make it observe the accessibility things, which is what again here
Yeah.
I really do not
Alignment. Yeah.
recommend. Yeah, because especially if there's this idea that if that you need to center. Why would you need to center? Like in this website that we launched on Friday, there's the main the brand is expressed via big dots, colored dots. So we had information in big dots, and the temptation is to center the text below them. But what I did is I made the dots as wide as the block of text, so it was perfectly fine to align the text, and it doesn't look weird at all. So
Mm.
also ask yourself, does this icon here add anything at all to the information? It doesn't really, it's not needed. So why subordinate your alignment to the icon when the icon is not important towards your message? I don't think. So again, here, as I said earlier, I see a flying saucer, a
Yeah. Something
UFO.
like, yeah, I know
You
what you
know,
mean. Yeah.
and I see that first. There's no, and then I have to really concentrate because also every line is spaced out. So I have to work hard to read this, but it's very, very important. This is really interesting. This really tells me. So in fact, it made me think, because I think I'm going to move. I'm using a low friction, very easy to use, cheap platform at the moment for my courses, and it's fine for now because I'm not really selling any at the moment. But when I start selling again, I'm very, very interested in looking at this again. Thanks, Natalie. I'm glad you appreciate it and you don't hate me. You know,
Simple changes make a big difference. That's the motto of this show, isn't it?
that
That's
is the
great.
motto of this show. So again, that's really nice. I mean, you do have the call to action here. So let's concentrate on the great stuff, because love the simplicity of it. Absolutely love it. But if you tighten the layout with good alignment, my God, it's going to be even so much more impactful, because alignment is the number one design tool in our arsenal. We can guide the eye. You guide the eye with alignment. So use it rather than put everything boom, 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 boom down like this.
Can I just ask your
So
opinion?
anyway,
Because
and
you've
I
you've
love all the
raised,
big white space.
yeah.
Sorry, yes.
Yeah, no, you've raised this before, and maybe we'll make this the last point on this one. The fact that there's two different types of button. There's a sort of pink gradient button, and there's a greenish, that one exactly. And I know that in the past you've often commended people for having one type of button
Yes.
throughout the site. Yeah,
So the point is that if the two buttons do the same, then they should look the same. Also, I'm
got
not
it,
sure about the
got it.
accessibility of the green and the black on top. I don't know. But anyway, so do they do the same thing? We don't know. The other thing is, again, I have no idea how this converts for you, Natalie, but I would think that, and I know because I put a call me button on my website, nobody's used it. I don't know whether people who come for the first time really want to call. So if I click on this, schedule a discovery call. So this is quite good messaging. Discover how AccessAlly can help you scale your online business. But I don't know if I would do it first thing. I mean, what I would really love to do first thing is see it in action somehow, even if it's not a personalized. I am left with a curiosity because I want to know. So if take the tool is unlock your free demo. So this is the same thing that happens in the pop-up. There's no other button. So the two buttons actually do something different. But if you say take the tool, in terms of UX or copy, the messaging I find it a bit confusing, because I think you're going to give me a tour of the plugin, an example, an existing demo that I can look at, a video showing me a live environment or something like that. But here again is unlock your free demo right now, for which I have to give you. So it's accessible. Actually, this site is navigable via keyboard. Fab. And it's got skip to content, because I have to confess, I never look at sites, but I did look at it really quickly with checked if it was keyboard navigable, and it's got a skip to content link. It works. So you can see here it's got focus status. So that's great. Thanks for doing that.
That's a subscription form, isn't it? Because it says so in the text underneath.
You'll
Basically
get follow-up emails, opt out
yeah.
anytime. So again, that I feels like in order to find out what your plugin does, I feel like I'm strong-armed into giving you. I know I can opt out, but I don't want to opt in. I want to see how it works. And I actually really mean it as a user. I really do. Because I have not, correct me if I'm wrong, but I have not found anywhere where I can actually see results showcase. Okay, no, I take that back. So review and showcase. Okay. So this is great, fantastic. I would make it so much easier to. So this is super interesting. Leaving AccessAlly for Kartra and coming back, because I use Member Vault right now.
Memberful, yeah.
Member Vault.
Member Vault. Okay, sorry.
It's a platform. It's not a plugin, because it's convenient. Because I'm not really. It makes no sense for me to invest until now. So this is super interesting. I would make much more of it. And now here, features. I love this. AccessAlly replaces your membership plugin, LMS plugin, affiliate plugin. Remember that this is brilliant. It tells me all that I need to know. I mean, why you look like it's genius. Design, offer by courses, and gamification, advanced recurring. Fantastic. Quizzes is what I want, because I use an external plugin, which it's a brilliant plugin. It's called Smart Quiz Builder. But it's a shame that MemberVault doesn't have an inbuilt quiz function. And it would be a game changer for me to have something that's really robust and that, does it properly. So also integrations, fantastic. I know I can use it with ActiveCampaign. I don't know if you've got more than that, but so the one thing is that, yes. So if
Piccia is literally shopping now. You realize that she's actually checking out where she can use this.
I'm your target audience. This is excellent. So I feel like Take the Tour should take me to the results showcase.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if Natalie implemented a solution where Taking the Tour really did create a bespoke tour. Well, I know that there's definitely solutions in WordPress to provide that more or less out the box.
Yeah. Or is that what? For instance, what?
Just so that it'll start up a demo site. It'll launch spin up a subdomain of something or other, and you can just demo whatever.
Yeah. Wow, so there's loads of stuff. My God, it's grown so much since the last time I looked at it years ago.
Piccia is going to be a customer by the end of the hour.
So, because the point is, when we do all this, so the point is that I don't know what converts for you or not, obviously. But the thing is, if you're here, that means you are wondering too. You're asking yourself questions. And again, once again, there is a ton more that I could say. And because this is just like 20 minutes of me looking at things and clicking around. Yeah. Thank you, Natalie. Yeah. So again, the thing is the testimonials, I haven't seen any yet, and I have to go look for them in order to find them. And I really want to know, because I did use, at some point I used LearnDash, and because I was copying everything that Dave Foy was doing. So he had LearnDash, and I tried LearnDash. I built a hell of a lot of custom post types, and I did all my designs because it's integrated with Beaver Builder. And then I just thought, oh my God, so much work. And then Dave said no, because it's just too much on server. It's going to give me so many server issues. So that's always my point whenever I'm facing this kind of plugin. Is it, how about my server costs? Is it going to substitute a platform? But how is it going to be? How painful is it going to be?
How's
for
it going to scale? Yeah, concurrent users.
How is it going to scale? So things like that. I don't know if you've got a an
More of a
FAQs.
sort of
I'm sorry,
technical FAQ, isn't it? That, what sort of
compare
amount
online
where,
course. But I mean,
yeah.
there's so again similar to what I said about to Alex earlier. Everything you got everything that's really really good, and you know that, but it's just jigging things around and and taking things into account, making it clearer, and actually maybe getting someone. Obviously, it doesn't have to be me, but it could be someone. I do also this as a for a living, obviously, but someone that is able to take a step back and try your user journeys, look at all the possible options. Where are people coming from? Where do you want them to go? What's the thing that is more, that has worked best, and test with people. I don't know if you test with people or have actual live feedback similar to what you're getting now. Like, for instance, back to the copy thing, see for yourself. See, okay, so this is something else again. Take a gamified live tour of the software. Okay, so we hadn't, again, it's not clear to me because I think that this is a gamified live tour and therefore you will take me on the live tour, but I can't do that. It's not so strictly speaking, semantically, this is not true. I'm not starting a free guided tour. I have to send an email, opt in, and then I imagine that I will get instructions in the email, but I have no idea what's going to happen right now. How do I get, and I don't know that it's a personalized free demo. So anyway, we're nearly up. Well, we're
We
over
are.
the hour already.
We're on the
We
top of the
are.
hour. Do you want to hold off on your deceptive designs until next time, or are you keen to get one of them
Let's
out?
just have a look at one,
Okay.
just
All
because
right.
it's so bad, so bad.
I love
Um,
this. This
and
is a
but
great bit.
it's tied in with what we were talking about. So we mentioned it. So this is Forbes. Just any.
Forbes is a news
Okay.
organization, right? And yeah.
Yeah, Forbes is a news organization and they're bad. Look at this. So, first of all, really inaccessible. I can barely read it. And here it says, accept or not what I want, because then you'll follow me everywhere and it'll be a nightmare. So, choose cookies. No, wrong. It should be accept or reject or. Actually, it should be, no, yeah,
Manage
accept
or
or
something, shouldn't it? Manage
manage,
cookies. Yeah.
accept, reject. So, I have to go to choose cookies and look at but what is this?
Oh,
So, they
wow.
have all of this.
Oh, wow.
Look, look, what the
Yeah.
what? What? So if I click on no, I have to click on what is
Oh,
this? Consent.
so
No,
at
yes.
least,
What?
so
I mean,
they're
this is
all,
already no, but
that's good at least.
is it? Because first time I looked at
Well,
it, it
it's
was
none of it's
so.
good, but it's better that it's on no than it's on yes, put it that way. Oh my
And then
word. You know
here,
what? I think
because
that's the worst implementation I've ever seen.
no, there's worse because there's another one that where you actually have to untoggle. It's all yes, and you have to untoggle manually. There's another one that is even worse. So
Oh.
here at the bottom, in fact, you can just go reject all. But when I first looked at this, I was on my laptop and this was at the bottom and I wasn't able to scroll down. So I was just like, I couldn't either reject or accept.
Oh, I
So
see. It was hidden below because it's such a
bad,
large.
bad.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
No, no.
Also,
So
each of those looks like it's an accordion, so there's more data there that you'd need to know about. I mean, honestly, which of us is prepared to understand any of that? Which of us has the time or capacity to read through any of that? I mean, the reject all just seems like such a sensible default. But my guess is that some pillar of their business is completely reliant upon a subset of people not bothering and just clicking yes, accept all, and they
I'm
can make
wondering
hay.
whether this is the one where you have to untoggle. Well, it's just they're thinking, oh, nobody's gonna. They're just gambling with it.
Exactly.
'Cause, I mean,
Yeah.
everybody knows
Yeah.
these days. Okay, so
Yeah.
this one manage. So this one is manage options or consent, but where's reject? So
I
manage
guess manager.
options.
Yeah.
Look,
Yeah.
look, they're all toggled. So
And what
I
does
have to go through
legitimate interest mean? What does
exactly
that?
what does it mean when you go. Some vendors are not. What is the legitimate interest? None of your interest is legitimate. There's no such thing.
My
Anyway, so
my
you
my
you have
favorite
to
ones that I've seen are where you can accept all, reject all, and
Yeah,
manage. You get
exactly.
3 options, and
Exactly. That's the
I
one.
just click reject all 100% of the time, and,
And I
look
think
at
that we
this.
invent this is like enrages me. Just look at this. I had to do all that. And then in the end, because the buttons are in the same color, look exactly the same, I have to
Yes. Well,
just concentrate and go,
at
so
least
which
the
one? And then
bottom
go confirm choices.
at least they're both buttons as opposed to one being teeny tiny grayed out text, which is reject, and the
Honestly.
one being in the big
Oh,
green button.
I forgot to apologize for my background because I'm redoing the studio, so there's stuff.
Don't you worry, Piccia. Piccia, that was fabulous. 2 websites done. That was great. Really interesting. We'll try to do this again in a month, I guess.
We
Whether or not
will
we'll
do
manage
it.
it with everybody's busy schedules and
Of
everything.
course we
I've got to
will.
say a big thank you to anybody who posted a comment, particularly the 2 people who, made the effort to come up and listen to Piccia talking about their own sites. That's really nice. But of
Thank you
course,
very
I
much.
have to thank Piccia most of all for taking the time out of her busy day. Piccia, if anybody having listened to this would like to get in touch with you, and perhaps, I don't know, let's imagine they want to use your services and employ you to do this on a longer, more in-depth basis, where do we go? Where do we find you?
So you go to LinkedIn, and I know so Piccia Neri. I mean, again, only me still. Despite Spanish sabotage, I still am Piccia, and Spanish language, I should say. And then my website is piccianeri.com. There's very little there, but there are ways of
But there are
working with me.
ways to contact you on there. So yeah,
Yes.
go
Yes.
and fill up Pictures roster with all of your UI UX work that you'd like her to look at. That would be really nice.
Thank
She
you,
does this for
Nathan.
free, but it's very, it'd be nice if something positive came out the back of it. Thank you, Anne. Appreciate your comments. Very helpful as always.
Thank you,
Great
Anne.
session. She says, yeah, thank you so much. Right, so maybe we'll be back next week. Let's hope so. Keep an eye out on the WP Builds live page. It'll pop up some information there. So we will see you when we see you. Take it easy.
Thank
Thank
you so much.
you.